Okay. We all know who I am, Doug Sealer, the Secretary Treasurer of TDXS. Let me pull up a little small agenda here. Where are you? Where are you? Oh, bullocks. And now let's give it a try. Here we go.
Doug, you should come prepared.
Just don't know how to operate this machinery.
We're going to dock your pay.
Okay. Well, just a couple items of business. So we have a new member as of a day or two ago, Dave Reed, K5 Sugar Victor and Sugarland.
W5 Sugar Victor.
Oh yeah, W5 Sugar Victor. He's the one that had on his application, he had confirmed with 390 or something like that countries.
Yeah, I'm going to have to verify that.
I think it's 100 there somewhere difference. But
Maybe.
And he's been licensed for 65 years. So I've been working on the math on that. I'm wondering if he was, I wonder if he was born with a license. He looks pretty, he looks young.
Well, you never know. Anyway, our active member count is 39 with the people who have paid their 2022 dues as of today.
I sent you mine recently. Did you get it?
I did.
Good.
And you can find the status out by going to the webpage.
I suppose I could be unlazy and do that.
So the next item, in-person meetings. What do you think? When might we be ready to do that?
Maybe when temperature warms up a little bit, say May or June.
I'm also going to have to watch Hidalgo. She's got the condition red for Harris County.
Are you really?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, we have the Tracy G. If we want to do it every other month, it's coming up, or otherwise we just cancel it for another time, like I did for today, and go on ad hoc on Zoom.
Well, we could do both, Doug. If people want to come to the meeting, then they could come, but they should tell you they're coming so you know how many you're going to have. And then
the last time we tried
the
to
rest
hold
of us could be on Zoom.
The last time we tried to hold an in-person meeting, and Orville and I were the only ones that showed up. That was back in like October.
Yeah.
Something like that.
That was the beginning of the Omicron thing.
Yeah. Any other business?
Yeah, we need a president.
That's old business.
I think that's not going to happen. I'm working on being a benevolent dictator here.
There you go. By the way, how's your wife? Is she okay?
I'll
Getting
still
better?
be your vice president of membership. So
Okay. She's getting better. They're moving her today to a rehabilitation hospital.
Good.
Work on her endurance some more. Well, let's get ready to the program then. We're all eagerly awaiting these sage words from Alan on N1MM Plus. Take it away, Alan.
Okay.
I'll stop sharing.
Okay. Well, I wish we had more people here, but we'll make do. Hold on one second. Let me share my screen. Screen one, share. Okay. You should see my screen now. So
Yeah.
this was intended to be an interactive forum, not necessarily 100% scripted. I did make some notes for myself about how I set things up. This is my typical screen right here, and just an idea of why I've done certain things. The logging window which is this right here, where my cursor is down low, because really it's just for me because I see better down low. It's closer to the rig. There's less head movement. So, I mean, that's where you look 95% of the time. So the less movement of your head or your eyes, the less fatigued you're going to get. Back in the day when I used to have a Commodore 64 computer, and I ran contesting back then, the Commodore 64 computer had all the controls at the bottom and a CRT up on top. And the only way I could get that CRT that lowered was I actually had to open the back of the thing. I had to rotate the CRT 180 degrees and then put it back on and then rotate the whole monitor, sit it on upside down. So the monitor was down further. And that's how I reduced neck and eye fatigue. So one of the things that I learned early on. And that somewhat applies to why I've got this down here. And of course, the window for the actual log is up here, is a little bit higher. And I have a few, a number of other windows open here, and we'll get into that stuff later.
Is everybody familiar with, basically familiar with N1MM?
No,
Okay.
I use N3FJP, so.
Okay. Well, I prefer N1MM. I've used N3FJP. I've used WriteLog. I have used WinTest a couple of times. It's a great program. We saw that last month. It is a great program, but I'm probably going to stick with N1MM because I'm just most familiar with it. And so
I think that's the individual's call and whatever they're comfortable with.
Sure.
that's correct. It's also the single-handedly, hands down, the most popular contesting software out there.
Absolutely.
It's got a lot of features. It's very easy to set up initially, in my opinion. They have initial setup on the N1MM download page and setup page. So when you do download it initially, you go to N1MM, you download the entire program, and then you download the latest update. Now you'll find that every time you bring up N1MM, every week there are some there's an update just about every week. So they make some minor corrections, they add some features, they do a few things. So it's very easy. You just click OK, it goes through the whole thing and then asks you if you want to start it again. You click OK, it'll restart. I've almost never had any issues with it. I think they test it pretty well. There's about a 5-man team, 5 or 6-man team that actually does all the programming for the program, and I think they check things pretty well. Just like any program, every once in a while a bug sneaks in, but that's with any software, right? Even Windows, believe it or not.
No.
I've seen it.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
Some people probably haven't, but I have. So anyhow, when I do bring it up, if I want to start a new contest, the first thing I do is I go to File and I just hit New Login Contest like this. And I get this screen right here. They've actually improved this. It used to be just this cryptic stuff on the left. And sometimes you couldn't quite tell what it meant or what contest it is. But now they've actually added the text to here on the right. So it's much easier to know what contest, didn't mean to do that, to know what contest you're going to load. And N1MM has just dozens and dozens of contests here.
Do they have the latest one for the FT8?
Well, that's a mode. It's not a contest.
Well, it will be a contest because the ARRL has approved it.
I think it's a digital contest, not only FTA. Am I correct or not correct? I don't remember.
Sure,
I remember reading something about it. Do they have the latest? I don't know. What's the name of it? I can tell you. Do you know the name of it?
not off the top, no.
There's a FT8, FT4 roundup, but that's for December.
No, this is
Um,
in,
Well, it probably should
April or
begin
May.
with ARRL,
Probably.
maybe up at the top.
So here's all the ARRL contests, and oh, I don't see it yet, but they'll have it in time.
Okay,
So they also have contests called UDC, which is user defined contests. You can find all the UDC contests on their webpage. One of them is the 1010 QSO party. That means it's not necessarily a contest that they have developed. It's actually can be developed by anybody. There's a UDC program that you can download that you can use to develop your own contest. Now it's to me, it's very complicated, but there's a lot of people that can do it. There's a VE guy, VE2FK, I think, that he's very knowledgeable in it. He can make changes. He knows all about it. We actually
The
did one
mnemonic is
for,
1010 already.
huh?
The mnemonic is 1010 ready.
Well, yeah, that's kind of a misnomer. It's they call it 1010 RIDI because RIDI is included. But I really rather I'm gonna ask them to get the name changed, quite frankly. Just 1010 or something else,
well, we've got two 10-10 parties. There's one in the spring, which
No.
is coming up, or just happened, actually.
There's actually about 10 throughout the year. There's 2 CW, 2 phone, digital, a low power, and a whole bunch of others.
Cool.
Probably this is the only 1010 contest that's in N1MM software. Again, it's a UDC. You have to download it separately, put it in a separate place, and then you can pull it up. And that's what I use now for 1010 QSO parties. But right now I'm going to concentrate on ARRL DXCW because that's this weekend. And what you'll do is you'll set up various things like this, like your operator, single op, multi-op, or check log, whether or not you're going to do all bands, single band, your power, your mode. It's obviously going to be CW. This overlay has to do with classic, which generally means like a 3-element beam, tri-bander and wires, novice tech over 50. That's definitely me, or rookie. Station is fixed. There's a whole bunch of, they do not always all apply, but generally you're fixed. Assisted or non-assisted means you're getting external assistance from a spotting network or from some other method, which you can change how many transmitters you're going to use. 1, 2, limited, unlimited, shortwave. Your exchange, which is TX here, operators, and you can put in multiple operators and even update them from the log. And I never use this, but also there are associated files. There's a CW for various contests. We have function keys, CW, sideband, digital function key files. There's a default that you can get, but I have one that's custom made that I've modified, and that's this one right here. You can always change it. This one will tell you what's the latest, or you can just look at, these are all my function key files. Most of them I've modified to some degree over the course of the last 10, 15 years. And some of them have some unique functions in them. So for example, this one right here, ARRL contest, it will identify every time, after every contact. This will ID after every 2 contacts. This will ID after every 3 contacts. This uses KJ5Y. This is just a whole bunch of different things that I've done. But they're pretty easy to modify. And I probably can show you some of that later. Let me see if I can get it out of here without screwing up. And then there's also a SCP file, which is a search check partial. So this one generally uses the master, which is this check log right here, which you could update. I'll show you how to update that later. Some contests will also allow for a call history file. The call history file is also normally downloaded from the N1MM website. And that allows you to have, when you type in someone's call and you hit the space bar or the tab key, if it will sometimes enter in all their information for you. And then it's your job to check it. It's not always correct. Sometimes they change and sometimes it's just plain incorrect. So it doesn't apply to this contest, but there are contests where it does apply. And then this is for your your goals. I've never used this, but it's you can set the number of contacts per hour and things like that. So I'm all set up. So I'm gonna hit cancel. And there's a lot of other stuff. These are previous files. You can open a new log. You can open a current log. You can generate a new database or open an existing database. I create a new database every year. And I guess this is for old stuff. And there's a bunch of stuff here.
Why do you do that, Alan?
Just so I don't have everything in one database. But in reality, it really doesn't matter because after the contest, which if I have time, I'll show you later, I export all of my contacts to an ADIF file, and then I upload it to my regular daily log, and then it's saved. So I really don't even need to keep it, but I do keep all my contests, all the data from all my contests in various files and in various years.
Okay.
If I ever need to go back, I can do that. But I usually don't. Once I import it into my regular log, pretty much it's done. So for the time being, we're going to skip edit. We're going to skip view because that's generally stuff that's after the contest. You can see, obviously, there's stuff that's grayed out, doesn't always apply. So then you go to config and you would configure the first time you're using it, you configure your ports. I currently have mine configured for COM9 for my K3 and COM10 for WinKey. This is CW other. This is actually WinKey. It's checked right there, and there's various things here that I generally leave things to default unless I have to change them. So there's other things like various. I'm not going to get into all the details because you can see there's tons and tons of stuff here. You can change various things in your function keys, function key mapping, send partial calls when you've corrected a call or send a full call, cut numbers. Cut numbers is like, and as you can see, I'm concentrating on CW, which is my preferred mode. So a cut number is like when you're sending your QSO number 019, instead of spelling the whole thing out, or say da 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 dit, it will send things like a single da or a single T for the 0 and an N for 9. It could even send an A for 1. That's just a way to shorten your exchange. And seasoned contesters generally would know if I send T5N, that means 059. There's a number of other things here. You can even work dupes when you're running. Generally, I always work dupes because it's quicker to work a dupe than it is to tell someone they're a dupe. Sometimes they'll argue with you. So a dupe, in case people don't know, is somebody you've already worked in the contest. Digital modes, there's a setup for digital modes, MMTTY, FL Digi, a whole bunch of other stuff here. This is tuning tolerances, WinKey setup, mode controls. Antennas is for, you can set it so that when you change bands, you have an accessory output that will send 1s and 0s to various pins, which can automatically control your antennas. Score reporting is to send your score to an online scoring server. And there's several of them so that you could actually look online. There's a lot of people that do this. You can go to contesting online, I think is one of them, and you can actually see in real time what people's scores are. And it's kind of a neat way. We haven't done it much in TDXS, but a lot of people do it. And I think it's a cool thing.
That's different than 383 then, right? Because
That's after,
383 is a
that's
total.
after the contest.
Okay,
But during the contest, you can see people's live scores, and this will set up your updating interval, how often you want to do it, because it does take some resources.
Keep your competitive juices flowing.
Right. Don't really know much about this. And then this is the WSJT JTDX setup if you're running that kind of contest. So as you can see, there's lots of stuff in config. Also on this tab, you can change your station data. There's audio setups. Don't really know what that is. Here's where you check for ESM. ESM means enter sends message. So as I was telling Doug earlier, a lot of software you have to hit F1, F2, F3 for various messages. In N1MM with ESM and WinTest also has this feature. I didn't know it did, but Dave told us that last month. Basically, you can enter in a call, hit enter, enter in the information, hit enter. It'll start CQing automatically. Enter in the call, hit enter, enter in the information, the exchange again, hit enter. And that's all you got to do most of the time. You almost never have to hit your function key unless somebody needs some additional information. And then there's a way to set up all your function keys. I'll get to that later. This was automatically spot, search, and pounds QSO. So if you're tuning around, you work somebody, if they're not already on the band map, which is this guy over here to the right, it will automatically spot them on your telnet, which is this window up here.
where's your band map?
The band map is over here to the right.
I don't see
Okay.
it.
You don't
It's
see it
got-
to the right?
It's
Where
got
am I?
Zoom on top of it.
Really? That must be your on your you can move it out of the way on your computer. Or you can minimize it, your Zoom.
No, it's on your
There it is, I got it.
No, it's on your screen.
Yeah, I just minimized the screen.
Minimize it, it'll go away.
Yeah,
So this
Got
is the band map, which is adjustable. And as spots come in, which let's log in. As spots come in, let's see if this works. There's a bunch of spots. Okay, you see all these are now filled in. These are all stations that have been spotted on 40 meters. We're not in a contest. And if you're in assisted mode, you can go over here. I'm kind of jumping around, but that's cool. You can go over here and you can click on this and it will automatically move the VFO to that frequency.
oh, wow.
Okay. And then if it's red or black, if it's black, it's a needed station. If it's red, it's a needed station and a multiplier. You see
Al-
similar information up here on the available. Sorry.
Alan, hey, this
Yeah.
Rich. Back up. If you don't mind, back up. Are you clicking on the telnet frequency over there on the top left where that will change the VFO if you have this, the computer interface with the radio? Is
Well,
that what you're talking?
It used to
Where were you
be,
talking?
Richard, that on N1MM, you could actually click up here on the telnet window, but they took that out because I think it took too many resources. But this information from the telnet, which is all bands and all modes and all frequencies, sends information over here to your your band map and also to your available window,
Okay.
your available mults and queues window. So a lot of this is the same information. It just all depends. As you can
Oh,
see,
You're over here on the far right where you're talking about clicking over here. I'm with you now.
okay, so
Yeah.
I can,
Do you normally operate assisted or non-assisted?
I usually operate assisted because I just like it. But if you're unassisted, you can just turn it off, turn the telnet off, but I like to keep this up because if I work somebody, I'm going to put this in test mode. So I'm not going to transmit, but I'm going to hit enter. And you see all this information is filled in. And let's say, for example, he sends me 100. Okay, it's logged. Now, as you can see, this is now grayed out. So that
Wow.
means I don't need to work them. It will also disappear from this window. Now in this window, I can click on a call and it will move it to that frequency. You can see this is actually sideband, but it really doesn't matter. I'm not going to transmit. Maybe something else will come up in CW, but you can see it's right here. You can see it over here, and it's also here. So right again, I'm going to hit enter. It just fills in what, and the sent receive RST is what 99.9% of the time in a contest, they're going to send 59 or 599, right?
Yeah.
You can always go back and edit that, right?
So why is
Yeah.
there a question mark down here in that screen on the
Okay.
bottom?
Good question. This question mark is there because this guy is not recognized in the check log. And the check log allows you, the check log is a file with thousands and thousands of common contester call signs.
Right.
And it also will give you similar call signs if you type something in. But let me get to that in a second.
Okay.
Let's say I hit 100 again here. Boom. Well, I guess it didn't do it because it wasn't CW. Let's go back. And I know this isn't CW, but that's in the CW. Could be the CW area. I'm not sure why it's.
FT8.
Yeah, and there's also, yeah, I know this is all a bunch of FT8 stuff here. Let's wait until somebody comes up on CW again. Or maybe I'll change bands. Now here's how you can change frequencies. I'm jumping around a little bit. You just type in, you can either hit this, it'll change to a different frequency. Or sorry, different band. Or you actually just type in the a frequency, 14025. And now I'm on 14025. If I want to go to 21030, I just type in 21030 and I've on 21030. Now my radio is set for PSK. Now it's not. Okay. So it does come up CW, but I think most likely, let me go back to 20 meters. Let's see if we have any spots on CW. No. Let's go back to 40, 7040.
That's
So
weird.
I don't have any current spots in the CW band. And this is a thing that you'll see is that in N1MM, it defines the CW band currently only going up to 7040. This is adjustable. See right here, it's saying that's sideband. In Europe, I think they use sideband here a lot. I have never adjusted this. I just ignore it, but this can be adjusted. You can also change the span by holding down the control key and using the mouse wheel going up and down.
Wow.
Oh, so you can expand it.
Yeah. Now, looks like KH6LC is now on about 7026, pretty close. I can click on him, right? Just clicked on him. Now he's on 7025.74. All right. So now I just hit enter. This is search and pounce mode, obviously. Hit enter. Information is filled in. If it was, if the call, if the call database was loaded or and applicable to this contest, it would fill in additional information. Let's say he sends me 1,000. Hit enter. As you can see, it now goes gray. Ah, here's somebody else. Boom. Hit enter. Goes gray. That means I know I don't have to work them. Now, if I'm tuning around and I'm just
That's really
tuning
cool.
around, and let's say I hear somebody I want to work, and OZ5LP, okay, something like that. So now I just hit enter. Same thing. It's actually what it's going to do now. It's going to send my call and wait for him to come back with his exchange. And his exchange, let's say it's 150. I hit in 150. All right. It logs it. And it also fills him in over here on the band map. So next
Oh.
time I'm tuning around, if I hear a station on this frequency, but I haven't heard his call yet, then I know it's probably OZ5LP.
Okay, I got a question for you. I noticed that there was a little check mark in that when you put OZ5LP, it came up down here on the bottom right corner and said OZ5HP.
All right. So that's part of the super check partial. This tells you when there's similar calls, because you may have copied it wrong in your head, or you may have only copied a partial call. And so I could type in, let's go to a different frequency. All right. So let's say OH5. Now here's all the OH5s in this super check partial database. Now let's say, for example, you copy another letter. Let's say it's N. Now it tells you all the OH5s with N's, and then it tells you other calls that are similar. OK5N, OZ5N, OH2N, OH5C, OH5Z. So you have to look over there. If you are working people, it helps you to guess, especially under adverse conditions, a big pileup or lots of QRM or QRN or something. It gives you better ideas as to who you're working or who you're trying to copy.
Wow.
And this stuff, by the way, I didn't get to that before. Under tools, there's a couple things here. You can download and install the latest check partial file. Click on that. It's going to say blah, blah, blah. It's already done. It's that fast. And then I can go over here to the same thing, tools, and I can download and install the latest country file, because country files change on a weekly basis, and certain calls that are odd calls are put into this country file. It's WL_CTY.DAT. These files are maintained by various people, and they maintain it for different logging programs. It could be N1MM, WinTest, WriteLog. I don't know what the capability of N3FJP is, whether or not they even do this. Okay.
Not
So-
that I know of.
Right. So then I click on this and boom, it's done. It's that quick.
Dang.
So now I know I
Can you
have
get to the history file out of this display.
to the call history. Well, I don't have a call history file for this contest,
Okay.
but there is a check log, check partial file. It could be downloaded, but it's not really part of N1MM to download that, I don't think.
Okay.
No, I don't think so. But you can go to various websites. The people who actually maintain it, which I don't know off the top of my head, you can go to their website and you can probably download it. And again, they do it for a bunch of different programs. TR log, TR for Windows, a bunch of them. So let me kind of jump back to tools. There's a bunch of tools in here. You can tune it. I don't ever do that. You can download and install the latest manual. The manual is like probably 900 pages.
It's
Yeah,
huge.
It's a 3-inch
downloaded it.
ring binder.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I've downloaded it.
I've downloaded it and printed it out on company printers, never on my own. Bunch of other stuff here I don't hardly ever do. Beacons, update call history file with current logs. So that's that call history file I told you about.
I got
You
a
can
question
download.
for you.
Yeah.
Go back up to where it says download and install latest country file. I just got a notice, I guess it was yesterday, in one of my things that said they have added some countries.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. They do it every week.
So
Every week. So before
You-
any contest, you want to download these files.
okay, that's what I want.
Every contest, you do it.
So, hey, Alan.
Yep.
Is the Rich here in Lufkin, is the call sign database, and it's kept up pretty well. I mean, like for me, my goal this year is to get into the contesting like this. And I've used M1MM a little bit, but for example, like me, someone who hasn't been on the air much, who's not doing a lot of contesting, if suddenly I work somebody, I mean, am I going to be in M1MM? I mean, I've been a ham for, 30 years, but am I going to be in there, or do I need to make a DX contact, or how does that work?
Well, let me show you how it works. After a contest, when you generate a Cabrillo file
All right.
right here,
Right.
it'll come up with this information. You click OK. It'll verify your category, fix, blah, blah, blah. And then I'm going to generate that Cabrillo file, and then I can save it somewhere. These are my databases, 2020, 2021, 20. I have a bunch of others on another computer. These are the contests I've done this year.
Mhm.
Here's a contest I did in 2021 and in 2020, bunch of them. See,
Okay.
but what I wanted to say is, let me just create a new folder. Test.
Well, Alan, let me ask you this: when you're working on M1MM and you're putting a call sign in there, like let's say you're working another U.S. station or something like that,
Yeah.
or whatever, is the FCC database, is it kind of pulled in here, kind of like they might put into another,
No.
QRZ or something like that? I mean, I guess what I'm trying to say is, how do you make sure your call sign is current in M1MM? So if somebody else is in another country using M1MM, they're going to recognize you, just like you were showing Gerald there earlier when he asked you got that question mark about a call sign when you were putting it in.
Okay. Well, let me tell you.
Okay.
After every contest, when I save my log file, my Cabrillo file, at least in N1MM, I get this neat little window comes up, and I can email my Cabrillo file to logs@supercheckparcel.com. So if you send, this is where the SuperCheck Parcel files are kept. And if you do a search for SuperCheck Parcel, or maybe you can go to supercheckparcel.com. Actually, I don't know, but you could ask them to put your log in the SCP. Sorry, your call, not your log, your call. Okay. So when I do this, it's automatically going to pull up my email client, and it's just going to send my little log to this guy. And I'd probably use my regular N5XZ. And then it goes into his into the database. Now, I will say that this database is calls that are seen often in contests.
Yeah, these are contesters. Okay.
Well, yeah, calls that are seen often. So if you're only in one contest, and even if somebody uploads your call, you're probably not going to get in there. You probably need to get into a lot of contests, and then you'll get in there. Right. So, I mean, I'm going to be in there, obviously, N5XZ. See, boom, I'm there. And if somebody was to type in my call, here's all the calls similar to N5XZ right here. And there's different sources. This is the check log. I mean, each one of these columns is a different source as well.
Hey, Alan.
Yeah.
Okay, so I was going to try. I'm on my iPad here, and I was going to try to flip the screen around. I'm on the Super Check Partial webpage, like he said, supercheckparcel.com, and it mentions on here. It says here, download the zip file to get all the files, or click on each to download. But anyway, it says, long story short, these files are generated from all contest logs donated by the contesting community, regardless of the mode. So just like you said, that answered my question right there. That's how you get your call. So like my call probably might not be in there right now, but I'm sure if I worked a contest, like you said, maybe at least just one, and then donated it or sent the file up, the log up, it's going to get in there. I understand now.
Okay. You're not in the check log, Super Check Parcel log. You come up here because you're now going to be in the call history of this contest for me.
Right.
But you're not in there. And so you can see there's some that are similar as we go through here.
Right.
And of course, you got to have a certain number of letters or fit or numbers and letters in there for it to start actually working. I guess it's 3.
Right. Okay. Hey, can I ask you another question?
Sure.
Okay, on the telnet, that's always kind of been a little bit of a mystery thing to me. I've worked a fair amount of CW,
Mhm.
and I can see how there can be these automated stations that will copy the CW and upload it to various servers or whatever on the internet. But the telnet, my question, I guess, is how does the telnet, where does the telnet data come from? I mean, that's coming from servers, I know, but who is that an automated process that's being fed
Yep.
into a handful of servers around the world?
Yep.
But
It
what
is.
happens if people are working sideband? Is there some kind of voice recognition software? Or, I'm curious, how does it recognize call signs? Like if I'm
Well-
working, go ahead.
First of all, it gets his information mostly manually from people feeding it. Like, for example, let me click on this guy and I can go over here and say spot it. Right.
Okay,
And boom, I just spotted it.
I see it.
See that? I just
Yeah, I
spotted
saw
it
it. Yeah.
on, and it propagates through all of the different servers. And if you want to see all the clusters, I mean, let's see, look at that.
Yeah, I see what you're saying.
There's a buttload of clusters around
And
the
the
world.
manual spots are what sometimes put misinformation out there too.
Sometimes, yep.
Yeah.
Now, it also gets information from skimmers. And you can turn that on depending on, let's see, set skimmer. Let's turn on skimmer spots. So set, you can turn this skimmer spots enabled. Now I'll probably get a lot more spots. And it actually on the skimmer spots, it gives you the signal strength and the speed.
Yeah.
And what they're doing in some cases, CQ, blah, 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 and generally it's CQs. And now I'm going to get a shitload of more spots. Pardon my French. Sometimes it's even too many.
Okay.
In N1MM also, like I say, you can select clusters. You can select different bands and modes. You can even put filters on it. You can show non-workable spots, turn that on or off, show only spots in call history, include spots only originating in like North America is what I got sitting right here. Various other blacklisted spots and blacklisted spotters and preferred spotters, et cetera, et cetera. I haven't even done lots of these things. You can select your timeout on your band map.
Oh,
So after a while, it'll clear. It'll disappear.
who determines blacklisted spotters or?
You do on your own.
Spots?
You say, "Hey, I don't want to see spots from this, son of a gun anymore," and
Okay.
I can do that. I can put in a blacklisted spot. I've never done it. It looks like there's one. There's one in here. EK3LR. Now this guy, N2IC, that guy is in just about every contest, every weekend, and he runs insane numbers and speeds. That guy is not human. Most people will tell you. Spot comment. When you do a spot, you can add additional information, or you can even type in information. For example, I could type in that this is ARRLCWDX. All right, I can take mode off now. All right, so now if I was to do a spot, let's just spot somebody who's already there. Let's spot some real DX. What do you say? I spot it. Now see, it says they're gonna think I'm nutty. ARLCWDX. Or it should have been DXCW, sorry. And see, it came out spotted that way. Some people are going to say that N5XZ, what the blank's wrong with him. But whatever. I'm just demonstrating. I don't care.
Yeah, I understand. Cool.
I have another question.
Mhm,
This is back down on the, your log window.
mhm.
If you right click on the, like the F1 QRL question mark,
Mhm.
see what comes up.
If I right click on that, I will get my macro file, often called an MC file.
So if
Okay.
I start a new contest or a new database or something, it'll pull those in by default.
You'll get the standard ones that come with N1MM, the default ones.
Because a lot of things like QSO parties, they don't care about the signal strength reports. You have
Well,
to
that's
ma-
true. That's true. And whatever standard or default macro file you get with that contest or that QSO party will not have that information. It won't. You won't send signal strength, or you'll send this or you'll send that. Now I don't.
Many times I've had to go in and manually
Oh yeah, I
back it
know.
out.
Some people will send in a QSO party. They'll send 599, or they'll send this and send that. Yeah. Now everything I use is pretty much custom, and all this here is custom. I've done it. The first, and you get different messages depending on if you're in the run mode or the search and pounce mode. Most of the time they're the same, but in some cases it's a little bit different. And so what this is doing here is when I enter in I'm going to go CQ is the name, that's what you'll see in the window, or QRL. QRL means, is this frequency in use? If you're doing it searching and spotting or whatever, you can do that up and run. You want to see if the frequency is in use. But this is going to send CQ test, my call, and then clear writ. Now this is an embedded function which will clear the RIT on my K3.
Ah,
Because the last guy I worked, he might have been off frequency. So I
Yeah.
may have had to tune off frequency with the RIT to copy him. And as soon as I hit either thank you, my call, which is F3, which is the F3 function, but it's done with by hitting enter with the enter sends ESM mode, it's going to send thank you space whatever my call is, and then it's going to send clear RIT, which is going to clear the RIT on my K3.
Hmm.
So when I send CQ or thank you, QRZ basically, it automatically clears the RIT. And that way I don't have to do it manually. It's done. Now this one, F2, exchange, all these less than symbols actually is an increase in speed of, I think, 1 word per minute. So what I'm going to do is after I, let's say somebody answers me, I type in their call and I hit enter. It's going to send, this is going to be, this is basically the RST. I can't remember exactly what this whole thing does, but it's going to basically send either the RST, which is default, which is 599, or it's going to send whatever you put in the SNT or the sent field. You might send them 549 or 579. I never do, but that's what this does.
But inside the brackets, it means it's going to send it like at 40 words a minute.
It's going to speed it up 1 word per minute above whatever I'm currently doing. So it's going to be, real fast. And then it's going to slow everything back down, give me a space, and then send my exchange.
Yeah.
I could just type in 599 here, it'd be the same thing. Or actually 5NN. So, in contest, you're going to say 5NN, not 599. So, and all these are, I try to keep them the same for a lot of these same for every contest. F4 is my call. F5 is his call, which is actually this exclamation mark means his call. F6 is sending my exchange again. F7 is always a question mark. F8 is always again with a question mark. And then F9, F10, 11, and 12, they might change, because I might ask them for their number, might ask them for their call. I might send my exchange again. Sometimes I'll send this twice, which I can do like that. Sometimes I can slow it down, send my exchange, because they may be asking me, what was your exchange again? So I send that 161. That is a common exchange for FOCers, which is, believe it or not, it's a combination of 73 and 88. You add them together, you get 161. Little secret you probably didn't know.
No. I
And so
didn't.
for those who are members of the first class CW operators club, that's what we send instead of 73 or 88. We send 161.
So you never touch a key, actually. You just all on the keyboard.
Almost never, unless I have to. Sometimes if I'm calling somebody, the first time I call them, like if I'm in search and pounce, the first time I call them, it'll send my call. But you got to be careful, because if you don't have all the information in there, then it'll send please again or something like that. I can't remember again. Please repeat. If you do have the information in there already and you hit enter, it's going to go ahead and log the contact, even if maybe you haven't worked the guy.
I've had that happen.
Oh,
So what you got to do is the first time you may hit enter, subsequent times you hit F4. So that's when you just send your call, F4. And then
Okay.
once you work the guy, then you hit enter and it'll log the guy.
Okay. Yeah, I've gotten balled up by that before.
Yeah. Anything preceded by a hash mark here is ignored. I mean, I could take all that crap out, but it's too lazy to. And now I made a change in this, right? I added this extra TX. Maybe I'll do it here too. TX. Save. Done. It's saved. That quick. I can do that in the middle of a contest. And actually you right click anywhere in here and it'll come up.
Now that's just for this contest.
This
doesn't
is
propagate.
just for this contest,
Yeah.
based on the associated files, which is in this place right here,
Yeah.
which is my own personal CW-ARRLDXCW.MC.
those are just your defaults?
No, well, that's my default for me, but it's custom. That's not the N1MM default.
Oh, okay.
I don't like the N1MM defaults that well, especially the RTTY ones. I hate them. But so I shorten them, make them much shorter.
I've got a weird one
That's
for you.
another question I had is if in contesting, speed is everything in both the transmission of CW and the logging, you can tell, well, how do you tell whether you're within your zone, if you'll put it that way? Is that
My
what those
zone?
little red marks are at the very top? The one says 11 and 6 and
Oh, you talking about this up here?
yeah.
Okay. We'll jump around some more. This window right here tells you the number of QSOs that you got per hour in the last 10 minutes. So it'll take the number of QSOs you made in the last 10 minutes and it will calculate how many per hour that is. Same for the last 100 QSOs, for the last 60 minutes, and during that hour. This hour is only six minutes old, so that's why it says 6 minutes here. And then this graph here tells you how many you've made. See, my rate's gone down now because I haven't made any QSOs. And this is always changing, and this is always changing. This will tell you how many QSOs you made in that hour. This will just go up and up and up during that hour, and then the next hour it'll drop back down to 0 and go up and up and up.
Okay, next question regards that. In some of those contests, I've noticed that you can take an hour break.
Yeah.
Is
That's
there a
it.
clock that tells you when your hour's up?
No, unfortunately, well, I guess it depends. Okay. See this right here says last QSO?
Yeah.
That's how many minutes and seconds since the last QSO.
Oh, okay.
So you
when
can
that
use
says
this.
60, why that would be your hour.
You can use this, but it's you have to be real careful because it depends on the actual minute. There have been cases when, even though it said 60 minutes, it was really 59 minutes and 59 seconds. And if you made a QSO, they're gonna disallow that QSO. So you got to be real careful about that. And there's some other options up here on your message window. You can see a bunch of stuff. I actually can't see. It's actually some of that's covered up with this thing up here. But you got a bunch of information up here: sunrise, sunset, the call, current solar conditions, distance, bearing, things like that. It's a bunch of additional information up there. Bunch of stuff here you can do. I haven't done lots of these things. I need to experiment more with them, quite frankly. But there's a bunch of stuff you can do up here. And I certainly don't have time to go into all the stuff, especially the stuff I don't know, I can't go into.
Okay, Alan, all that does, if I'm correct in reading all the manual that I read through, all that does is allow you to simplify it so you can speed up your QSO. That's what this program does. Besides logging it,
Well,
it allows you to speed it up.
it's
because,
a more
like you
efficient
said,
program. It's
you
more
can
efficient.
modify things.
It's more efficient and more feature laden
Yes.
than probably any software, with the exception of WinTest. And I'm sure WriteLog is right up there with it. Probably TR log and TR for Windows is up there with it. N3FJP is it's not really serious contesting software.
No, it's from the novices like me.
Yeah, it's a good start, but it's not serious. Over here is the your score. Just tells you your score. It tells you how many points, QSO's points, countries you've made on each band, and also tells you if you work another multiplier. I'm sorry, this tells you how many points you got for each QSO. And down here, it'll tell you how many QSOs a new multiplier is worth. So you could have a case where a QSO is worth a QSO, but if you work a new multiplier, it might be worth 5 QSOs. And this will tell you that. This window right here tells you available mults and Qs, and it's adjustable so you can do mults only, multipliers, or mults and Qs. Right now, based on what it's seeing, I guess there's not much to show. But typically this can be completely filled. And then I can also sort it by call sign, by frequency, by direction, by mode. I can sort it. Sorting it by direction is cool because I can turn my beam a little bit in this direction and work a bunch of stuff. And then I can turn my beam a little bit more to work a bunch of stuff, and I can work it right down the line as I'm turning my beam.
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
Frequency is most common. Time to see how old a spot is, things like that. Bands and modes, you can select which bands and modes, whether it's your focus radio or your non-focus radio. That's for if you're using 2 radios, like an SO2R. But it's also, the radio that I'm using is my focus radio. If I'm in SO2R, that's going to switch back and forth between this radio and the other radio. And then you can also define the bands that you want to get spots from. Typically, it's going to be, your standard, bands, not your work bands.
Mm-hmm.
Although you can include them in if you want, and whatever the modes are you're looking for. Well, right now I got set on CW, so you can say all modes. Well, look how that filled up now with all modes, because now it's showing all the CW spots. Duh.
Mm-hmm.
See, sometimes even I don't look at everything, right? But you can take out digital, RIDI, phone, and now I can sort it by direction. And I can start at 0, 19, 31, 39, 43, 107, blah, blah, blah. Or sort it by frequency. Here's
Okay,
another
I got
thing.
a question. If you sort it by bearing, then when you click on that one, that's going to take that frequency and put it down in here in the call, right?
Correct. So let's go bearing. So I click on this guy, boom. He's down in the log in the window, in the logging window. I click
Mhm.
on this guy, he's down there. This guy, he's down there.
Wow.
And
You can go
and
through a lot of guys.
right. And the other thing you can do is when you're up here on the band map, let's go right to the top of the band map, right? I can hit control down arrow. It'll go to my next guy. Control down arrow, control down arrow, control down arrow, control down arrow, control up arrow, whichever way you want to do it. I can navigate either the available mults and queues window or the band map window.
Oh, wow.
I can show DX. This sends a message back over to the telnet window. This I think sets filters. Toggle feed CQ. Let's say I'm running. Let's say I'm in the run mode, right? So now this is my run my CQ frequency right here. So let's say I tune off of that frequency to work a multiplier. I hit I think it's Alt Q or Control Q. Control Q. Oops. Alt Q takes me back to my CQ frequency. So I can tune off and work some stuff. And then I hit Alt Q, takes me back. So, and then I can start doing CQs again and start running again.
Now I see why the binder's 3 inches thick.
Yeah, I can also
Well-
turn the rotator. Currently, I don't have a rotator installed because my rotator, the RS-232 interface is blown. So I can't turn it except manually. This right here is my multiplier list. Tells me who I've.
Maybe next week we continue.
There we go.
So let's say I go to 80 meters. Oh, why did it do that? Let's see, 3505. All right. Now, things don't always, so I haven't got any spots for 80 right now. Why not? Bound to be some spots on 80. Maybe not. Maybe there's no spots on 80 right now. It's kind of odd, I would think. But if there was a spot, let's say I go over here. If I just hit F1, it goes into run mode automatically, and I'm calling CQ right now. And then I work W9LCQ, but you're grayed out because you're not worth anything, but I worked you anyway. Okay. But if I work
Besides-
PJ2 DX. Now, here's another thing. You see the check mark? That means it's recognized over here in the super check partial.
Mhm.
He sends me 599. He might send me KW because he's running 1,000 watts. It's logged in, and it's a multiplier. You can see it comes up here, shows me the multiplier. So all these windows work together.
Hey, Alan.
Yep.
Okay, Rich over here. You know, I'm looking here now. You said there was no 80-meter spots. Yet if you look over here in the bottom left corner, where you have this grid of the countries that are actively being spotted, only the 40 meters. Well, there's one on 80 just popped up. It's blue
Yes,
right there.
that's the one I just put in.
Okay, I'm with you. But
I just don't see any 80-meter spots up here on the telnet for some reason, which to me is kind of odd.
well,
All I see
here's
is
my-
40-meter spots.
well, that's what I was going to say. I mean, there's nothing. There's no 20 or 40 or I mean,
Do you have
there's 40,
filter
but
set?
yeah, exactly. You read my mind,
Well,
Doug.
I was looking at that. Should be getting spots from everything. Is rather odd.
I mean, it just kind of seems weird that primarily, I mean, there's 180 that you put on there, but it seems like everything I'm seeing is just 40 meters.
Oh.
That's going on.
Maybe I was disconnected. Let's reconnect.
So let's say you're sitting in front of your radio. I don't know if I can ask you a question while you're looking at that. And let's say you're trying to work on your DXCC. Oh, there it goes. See now how they're all populating there?
Yeah. Okay. So now I should have some, now I got some 80-meter spots.
Yeah,
I was disconnected for some reason.
right.
So
Let's see
now
here. Uh-huh.
I was just going to say, so now I got all these different spots. These are all, everything red is a multiplier, right? So all these are mults and on different bands because I've got it set, I think, for not necessarily on focus radio. Up, see if I do focus radio, now it's just 80-meter spots.
Why is that? What parameter have you got set when this focus is just 80 meters? I mean,
Well, because I'm on 80. I'm
okay,
focused on
okay,
80.
I get
He
it, I
only
get you.
wants to work
Yeah.
80 meters.
Yeah, I got you. But you've got it. You over here on the side over here. You've got it tuned to 80. I see that. I'm with you on the 80 meters. Okay.
Yeah. So what all this means is the red ones mean they're spotted.
Right.
The blue ones means it's been
Or worked.
worked.
Right.
I've never understood what expected means. I'll have to look that up.
Mhm. So let
Double
me ask
malt
you
sounds
this.
like something you drink.
Hey, Alan.
Yeah.
So let's say you're trying to do something like you said, hey, I want to try and work a DXC. I want to work 100 DX countries on 80 meters CW.
Mhm.
So is there I know the answer to this is yes, you could, but you could set M1M up, N1MM up with the filtering on the spotting there. And then basically use this this countries window over here to help you out. Is there a way that N1MM would notify you, like it, beep, put a beep out on the windows or something, say, hey, here's a new spot on 80 meters CW, new country that you haven't worked. And
Like,
you
like
need
a
to,
JT alert.
yeah, pay
No.
attention, go take a look at that.
No, N1MM is not a general purpose general purpose logging program for your DXCC.
Okay.
You need to go to a general purpose program like AC log or Logic or DX. What is it? The one Roby uses, DX something or other. But there's a number of them out there that will keep track of your awards.
Okay.
But N1MM does not. There are certain things that N1MM does not and will never do.
Yeah, it's a
Basically,
content. Yeah.
Correct me if I'm wrong. N1MM is strictly contesting software.
Yes.
It's not meant to chat with,
To do what?
to chat back and forth with people.
Oh no.
It's not meant as a general logging program either.
Right. It's not a general logging program.
Right.
I see you have a
Right.
gray line map back there.
That's another feature. The gray line map, which I can expand.
That is cool. I like that.
Now I don't have a big enough window to show you everything. All the white spots are spots. And there's some setup, show sun, equator, home location, number of spots to display. It'll show up to 100 spots, spot color. I don't like, well, let's make them red. Okay.
Easier to see, yeah.
Well, doesn't always do what I think it'll do. Okay. So they're still white. I don't know why. Maybe new spots coming in will be red. I don't know.
I was gonna say, don't you have to update it?
Maybe. Go to window,
Gray line?
gray line. Well, now I gotta wait for a new spot. There you go, it's red.
Got it.
Bingo. See?
Yeah.
And this can be as sizable, be as big as you want. You know,
Cool.
I sometimes I put it on, I got two screens here, so sometimes I put a lot of information on the other screen.
What's the yellow spot that's in the gray line down there by?
That's
Oh,
called the
sorry.
sun. That's the sun.
Yeah,
That's
That's
what-
that's the
I
big
figured
spot,
that out.
and that's where we want the most spots.
No, I was curious. I didn't know what it meant.
Yeah.
Okay.
Let me tell you, what else can I tell you? There's a bunch of telnet window tools. I just can't go into everything, obviously, system information. Let's go to config again. I have enter send messages on, automatically spot new search and pounce. QSO. So that means when first of all, I'm going to turn off this spot comment. Okay. And just say mode. All right, go back to here. Now, let's say I'm tuning around and there's old W9 LCQ bugging me again. He wants to work me. So, okay, so I search around, there he is. I work him now. See, it's spotted automatically.
Mhm.
Oh, that's cool.
So, that's something that's kind of like you're just helping the other guys, right? You're telling other people where the spots are. It's
Well,
not
they're
helping your
helping you.
score.
They help you in return too. So
Well,
it's a
hopefully.
two-way street.
By the way, I have a saying that I keep trying to emphasize to people, which I don't get much love on. It's friends spot friends.
Yes.
So if you're in a contest and you're tuning around and you hear a team member or somebody spot them. Nothing illegal about it. You can't spot yourself in most cases, but spot your friends.
I thought you were saying it was maximum available power.
Well, that's my other one. MAP is my other saying, yes. But friends spot friends. Now, if I get spotted, see this guy right here? ZS7ANF? That's a South African station in Antarctica.
Ooh,
That's what?
That's a station. Well, that's a South African Antarctic. That's a South African base in Antarctica.
Oh, wow.
wow.
I worked him the other night.
I'll work them again.
So he's on CW, huh?
Well, he's on 40 meters.
Yeah.
So let's go to 40.
Well, now, do you have to click 40? Can't you just type 7022 in there, or just
I could
Alan,
7027.
but you can't click on that over there where it's on the telnet and have it
Oh,
tune the radio.
that's right. 7022.
Right. Alan,
Yep.
you can't
So-
click on the telnet over there and have
No.
it change the frequency. Okay.
No, it used to be you could. It used to be I could click on anything up here and it would automatically change. They took that feature away. I think it was problematic. And they took that feature away. Used to be you could do
So
that.
how do you go get him now?
Well, since I can't,
Oh, he's
I
over
gotta have my
here.
other
I see
headphones
him.
on.
I see him. He's over here in that available to mulch thing.
Yeah, he's bound to be over here somewhere. There he is there. He's already in my log when he's over here, right?
Yep.
So basically what I could do is all I gotta do is hit enter and it's calling him. It's just sent my call one time, but I've got my K3 in test mode, so it didn't actually transmit anything.
Okay.
And
Go to
there's
your
no
dummy load.
contest
Go to
going
your
on.
dummy load.
Well, it's not even a dummy load. It's just, it doesn't I put the K3 in test mode. It doesn't transmit.
Okay.
I have another question.
Yep.
Have you had any problem with the up and down arrows on your keyboard, changing the CW send speed?
No, but you don't use the up and down arrow key. You use a page up and page down. See, if I hit page up right here is the speed, right? I can either use the pot that's on my micro keyer. I could use this guy, or I use the page up key. Or page down key.
That's the problem. My Apple Magic keyboard doesn't have a page up and page down. This is a small version.
Get rid of that Apple.
It's just so cute though.
Nothing but trouble.
It's just a keyboard. Apple.
Now, if you use the up and down key, what it will do is it'll change your frequency.
That's what's happened to me.
See,
Okay.
you see it's changing my frequency slowly.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm using the up key and my frequency goes down. Why that is, I don't know.
Huh.
I wonder if you hit shift up or down, it moves it a little faster.
I don't know. I'm just holding it down now. See, it's just moving. It doesn't move very fast. I don't know if there's some way to make it move. Oh, there you go.
Yeah,
What
that's what I'm
is
saying. Hit shift and hit the up and down buttons.
That's my control key. Now it's go much faster. Let's try Alt.
What about?
Alt doesn't do anything. Let's try Shift.
Shift.
Nope. It's a control key. Control
Okay.
up, control down will move it faster.
Hmm.
So you don't even have to have a VFO dial. You can just use the arrow keys and up and down. right? And then if you take your finger off the control key, that it's fine tuning.
Now I can see why you guys get so many contacts when us SFPs guys don't.
Oh yeah,
Mhm.
S&P is see rate is king. It's another saying we contesters have. Rate is king.
Yeah, that's why it has the QSOS prior up there. I see that. Yeah. Yeah. This reminds me of the modern fishing people using these fish finders, like shooting fish in a barrel software like this.
Yeah. I mean, let's see something here. Dang, that thing is right in my way. Go to another window here. Images, photos. I got a few pictures of some nice rates, which 271 an hour.
Good night.
And see, and also here's another thing. If somebody else spots you, it'll actually tell you that you've been spotted, which is a really good thing, because once you're spotted, your QSO, your rate usually goes up for a while. Even if a lot of people now are using the skimmers and depending on skimmers, but I don't care what anybody says. When you get spotted, a lot of people don't use skimmers, and when you get spotted, it's a plus. So I think that was my best, was 271 in that contest.
That's hidden.
So whenever I'm doing a contest, I keep my phone handy with on camera, so I can take some bragging pictures. So
What it's all about, isn't it, Alan?
yep.
Well, that was hitting a little more than 4 a minute, I guess. 4 contacts, about close to somewhere between 4 and 5 contacts a minute
Yeah.
on that.
Now I've been at when I used to work in Alaska, I used to go to a contest station up there, which is KL7RA. And being DX and being in a contest, let me tell you, that's a high. And I had my highest rate ever was around 350 an hour. And that was on sideband, by the way. Some guys that are running some of the top operators, if they're running SO2R or what they call 2B SIQ, which is where they're calling CQ on 2 different bands at the same time, but they have to interlock. They can't transmit on both bands at the same time, but they can work both bands at the same time. And sometimes those guys run 600, 700, 800 QSOs an hour.
Gosh.
I mean, they're monsters, and they hear a different receiver in each ear, left ear and right ear, different receivers. And they just go back and forth between the 2 keyboards. You should look that up on YouTube, 2BSIQ.
That's what Dave McCarty does it, doesn't he?
Dave McCarty does 2BSIQ.
Yeah, he does.
What's his name? Nizar does SO2R, or did. I've never done SO2R. It takes a lot of practice, and I don't have 2 radios. So
Did you hear about us about Nizar's Hungerford?
I heard his tower laid over.
Well, now he's got a big solar farm coming up in there, like
Yeah.
a half mile.
Yeah, and the noise levels are and I doubt there's much he can do about it.
Yeah, yeah.
Doesn't that farm have to comply with Part 19 and not interfere with our radios?
Good luck.
They take him to court.
Well, you'd have to, but that would stop it. Just
No,
the
it wouldn't.
threat that,
After you
there's a federal
after you
law,
spend
you
50,000, after you spend $50,000 to $100,000 suing them, it might be reduced. Believe you me, there's a lot of legal things where you are in the right, but it's not worth the money.
Well, yeah.
That's so true.
Long time ago, there's a friend of mine, Orrin KB5F. He had a 100-foot tower in a neighborhood, and he had permission from the HOA to put up this 100-foot tower. But after he put it up, then the city came down on him, and he had to take the city all the way up to federal court, to the federal level. And he did that. It took him up to the federal level, and he won. but it was only a partial victory. He was able to keep his tower up, but he did not win any legal fees. He didn't get
Oh, he
the,
used out of pocket all that money.
it was all out of pocket and some donations. I think he spent, I don't remember, 20, 30, 40,000 bucks. And K5RC over in Nevada, he had a similar situation. Now he's rich, right? He spent upwards of $500,000, I think. Here's a TDXS member, KG5U right here on 7040. So what's today? Thursday night?
Yeah.
Must be some contest going on that he's playing in.
That's Dale,
So-
isn't it?
That's Dale, right?
Is
So 7040. Oh, what happened? Did I read it wrong? 7040. Wonder why he didn't come up over here. Well, all is not perfect.
70 KG5U is 7041.1.
That's why there it is, Jim.
Well, it says, oh, see,
There he is.
this
over there.
guy, this guy spotted him in Italy, spotted him incorrectly.
Yeah, but he come up and down there at 704.4.1.
That's right. Exactly.
And
So
I see him over there on the right.
yeah, so I can click on him and now I'm on his frequency.
Yeah, all those are grayed out. My goodness, have you worked all those?
No, they're grayed out because the contest I'm in,
Okay.
they're of no value in this contest
I
that
got you.
I currently have on the logging program. Whatever contest they're in, which I don't even know what they're in right now on Thursday night. Oh, it must be the sprint. Okay, it's a CW sprint. Okay, that's a really crazy contest. But the CW sprint is a 30-minute contest. But the thing is, in the CW sprint, you can only work 2 stations on one frequency. Then you have to move 1 kilohertz. So he might have been on 7040 when this guy spotted him originally, and then he moved to 7041.1. And and sometimes what people do is they toggle back and forth. What you do is you answer, you listen around, you hear someone calling CQ and sprint, you answer them, then you wait for someone to call you. You've made your 2 QSOs, then you got to move at least 1 kilohertz, work somebody else, have someone work you, then you got to move another KC. You can just go back and forth if you want. It's a
Somebody
crazy
up there's got
contest.
42 words per minute, man. That's doing some traveling.
Yeah. Yeah, you can see some of them. That's right.
Dang.
I generally run between 35 and 38 myself most of the time. But I know there are people that work me that are running over 40. And if all you're doing is working a call real fast,
Yeah.
like 4 letters or 5, 6 letters, and especially if it's people that you've worked 100 times before, it's
Yeah.
not as hard as you think.
It's just hitting the enter key.
Well, you still gotta, sometimes you still gotta type things in, especially if they send an exchange.
Yeah.
You gotta hear their exchange. I think the sprint, I can't remember the sprint, the exchange might be the QSO number, the serial number. I don't remember. So I could go open log. Whoops, that's not what I want to do. File, new login contest. Let's see, sprint. I don't know if it's under sprint or what. I can't remember now. I haven't done a sprint in years. There's a South American sprint. Sprint CW, North American sprint right there. Okay. So the exchange is rather complicated, actually. You got to send their call, your number, your name, your state. So the exchange is kind of complicated, actually.
Yeah, but it's not complicated if you're doing it with just a key. You're not actually sending all that and typing it in. It's already, you hit 1 key and it sends it.
Let's see if I have a sprint. Yeah, see, I got one that I made for the sprint.
That's
Okay.
correct, isn't it, Alan?
What's that again?
I said, what I was saying was if you may have a long ID but it's only one key.
Well, all
You-
depends.
You hit your keyboard and hit one key and you're gone.
Now this one, I have a call history file. It's an old call history file. Look at that. 2020. Oh, I'm sorry.
Not that old.
That's a brand new hit call. I don't know where
Mhm.
that came from. I didn't do it. Okay. So now I put in the call history file, Sprint CW text. Okay. So now we're in a completely new contest. So N3BB is a big time contester over in Georgetown or something. So if I just hit enter, I just sent my call. It already has his information. So I said this is my QSO number 1. He might send me 23, Jim, Texas. Boom. Now it's sending my information. It's done.
Now, what'll trip
That's
you
what I
up?
mean. I mean, SSB's got no comparison to this. There's nothing we could do to make it. So
Yeah, it does. There's a CW. I mean, there's a sideband sprint as well.
Gee,
So here's Dale, right? Let's see if
Yep.
I click
Here he
on
is.
him. Well, I don't know why I didn't go. So let's put in KG5U. Boom. It knows it's Dale, right?
Now, what'll trip you up is if you get contests where somebody will, like some of the QSO parties, you have a whole bunch of people that will sign dude or some.
Sometimes they'll use somebody's name who just passed away in honor of them. But if I type in my call sign, see, it's already got my name. See, it won't take 0. It's sending again or something like that. If I leave this field empty, it won't do it. It won't take it. Now I can hit Control Enter and it'll log it, I think, or Alt Enter. Maybe not. So I just worked myself. So, and there are
Well, that's an
multipliers.
invalid, right? That would be one that you would turn in.
Well, I'm just demonstrating, right?
I know, but if you turned it in, it would get flagged, right?
It would be not counted.
Right.
So you can see I got blue ones and I got red ones. So the red ones is a multiplier, and the blue one is just worth, for a contact. And so this is just another contest. You can see all of them here. Here's all the, here's the skimmer going from VE7CC, and there's going to be a lot of calls. So let me see what else I can show you here. CQ repeat is if you're calling CQ, it'll change the repeat time. You can also hit Control R and Alt R to turn it on and off, and to actually Alt R turns it on and off, and Control R sets the time. Enable call history lookup if you're using that. Show non-workable spots. There's a whole bunch of stuff here. This is just, changing the looks, changing the band plan. Remember I told you about the band plan earlier where,
Yeah.
let's see if I can change that. So here's the band. I never even mess with this. So I don't agree with that. So where does 40 meters start? 7125?
Yeah.
And I probably have to, see, it's just all cleared. So now it's not going to say sideband until it gets up to 7125. I've never even messed with that. It's a lot of things that I haven't messed with. Let's see. What else can I tell you that you need to know? Oh, if you are in a multiple operator situation, you hit Control O or do that. So if I hit Control O, it'll say, okay, what's the operator's call sign? Okay, N5XZ. All right. So now that would normally be done at the beginning of the contest. And if another operator sits down, you just hit Control O. All right, Control O. What's going on? I must have done something wrong now. There we go. KJ5Y. So now he's the operator. Let's see. There's a bunch of stuff, bunch of windows, network status, move multipliers. You can see multipliers, score summaries at the upper right. spectrum display. This is something I have not yet worked with, and it will actually apparently built into N1MM. You can actually have a spectrum scope on your screen. If you don't have like your own spectrum scope, like a P3, you can actually put it on the screen, and I think it's clickable. To me,
Cool.
that is cool beans. I think it's cooler than you know what. But I've never messed with it. I don't know how to even set it up. I haven't done it yet. That's the spectrum scope. I think that's unnamed spectrum scope. So I don't know yet what to do with this guy. I've got to figure it out though.
Well, if you've got a P3, you don't worry about it.
Well, but apparently, see, the P3 is not clickable. On the spectrum scope, it's going to tell you your frequency. It's going to tell you the call on the spectrum scope, and you can go over there and click on it and move your. It's be similar to the band map, but it'll be on a spectrum, and you can click on a certain spot, and it'll actually move your VFO over to that spot.
Oh,
That's
wow.
what I understand a spectrum scope does.
Yeah, that's what the Flex does.
Yeah. So it's built into the N1MM software. Again, I have never messed with it, but it's definitely something I need to learn.
That's something that would facilitate S&P.
Yeah, absolutely. That's what it would be for. Exactly. So how that works again, I don't know. Let's see what else. Windows. So there's a whole lot more to be talked about with WSJT. You can actually see a decode list, which is better than what you normally see on WSJT when all the calls scroll down. And this is automatic. This is set up so you can interface with RTTY programs and FT8 programs, whether it's WSJT or JTDX. It's all already, well, it's not automatically set up, but you can set it up, and you can actually monitor up to 4 separate decode windows, whether it's RTTY or FT8 or FT modes. So you can look at the 4 windows, and you can click on certain information on whichever window, because like from 4 different programs. In RTTY, different programs have different algorithms on how they decode, and you may decode something on one program and not on another, and vice versa. So you can look at these 4 windows, and you click on the one that decoded for you the best. It's just incredible stuff that this program will do. Over here in help.
You almost need a computer just for it.
No kidding. I haven't actually looked at all these things. This will tell you all the supported contests and how to set up for them. Key assignments, revision history. That is like, let me see. So revision history tells you the latest revision. That, like I say, they do. It goes all the way back to 2018, doesn't it?
Yeah, at least
Yeah.
that.
These are really old, but so you can see what all changes have been made. Not that matters much.
Who actually does that, Alan? Is it a group of guys that
Yeah,
put their brains together to make that happen?
yeah, it's a group of guys.
Okay. The reason I ask
N1MM is one of them.
N3FJP, there's just 3 people now that do it.
Right.
And that's it.
So you can look up contest rules for this particular contest. Boom. So it automatically knows what contest you're in, and it'll pull up the rules
Cool.
for you. Contest calendar, WA7 BNM contest calendar, tells you all the contests. This is I look at this. Oh yeah, I look at this all the time. This tells you all the contests, every one of them, except the FOC QSO parties doesn't
Are you
list them.
are you doing the walk for the bacon QRP party?
Probably not. But yeah, it's got some weird ones. Russian
Well,
PSK.
basically, they're all really short ones. The long ones are like the CW contest.
Yep. Well, the CWTs, I do them a lot. They're only an hour. There's 4 of them on Wednesday. Then there's sprint ladders. There's all kinds of stuff here. A1 ops, CW ops. I mean, there's just shitloads of stuff here.
Do they have anything for FT8?
Yeah, I mean,
I
there
didn't
are,
see anything there.
well, there may not be any right now, but let's go to the 12-month calendar. Bound to be something in here for digital modes somewhere. Pro Digi, this is probably FT8 right here.
FT4.
Well, okay, this one's FT4 only. Okay. Interesting.
Yeah, that's cool.
Help. So there's also a discussion group that you can join, send in bug reports, error logs, open Explorer on user file directory, which is this right here. And here's all, this is the documents for N1MM logger, all your call history files, databases, diagnostics, export files. This is where I put in, I kind of showed you this stuff before. And this is where I usually put in all the information for that contest, and ADI file, log files, summary runs, which will print out. I had one run in this contest, 68 Qs, 144.4 an hour. Of course, that was only 30 minutes. That was 30 minutes of a CWT.
Hats off to you, Alan.
I can report score to 3830 automatically, like that.
That's the neat thing right there.
Not sure what else to say. This is just kind of a.
I think you've overwhelmed us.
This is just an overview, right? And there's a lot of stuff. If I've talked about 5% of this program, I doubt I've touched that much, right? But the major points.
Well, thank you.
You can set these windows up any way you want, move them around. And also, I wanted to show you one other thing. You can do save window positions. And if somebody moves them around, you can restore them. And also the save window positions will save them differently for different operators. So if I have it set up for N5XZ and W9LCQ screws it all up, he can save it for himself, and he can always pull up the screwed up version, and I can always pull up the good version.
Gee, thanks.
That's a good thing to have.
Any other questions by anybody, by our huge group of people that are listening?
No, I think you did a great job, Alan. I really appreciate you taking the time to do this.
My camera went out again, but I got a weird deal here with this computer. Doesn't like cameras, or the USB port doesn't like cameras, and the camera only works for a while. Then I got to unplug it, plug the sucker back in, and start the video again. I can't explain it.
How does it know?
I don't know. This is a computer that I bought from another ham. I can't even remember who I bought it from. It's an old HP point of sale computer. It's very small.
Yeah.
It's liquid vapor cooled, by the way. I found out. I did not know that. It says on the sticker that it was originally Windows 8 computer that has been upgraded by this other guy to Windows 10, although it has USB 3 ports, which I'm not sure they had that when Windows 8 was out, but who knows? I've upgraded the RAM from 6 to 16 gigabytes. I paid $100 for the computer and about $50 for the RAM. So I got $150 investment into this computer. So
that's less than the cost of the operating system.
So
yeah, I found something out recently. I don't know if anybody's tried to go to Windows 11 yet. But
No,
I
not yet.
did. I wanted to do it just because I wanted to. And even though I've got 128 gig of memory,
Ah, what? 128 gig of memory?
no, 128 gig of memory.
My
Yeah.
goodness.
That's just the onboard memory. That's
Why
not
do you-
counting the hard drive stuff. Anyway, it came back and told me I didn't have enough memory.
You know, the problem right now with Windows 11, from what I see, if you custom build a computer, is that your motherboard's got to have the TPM chip like laptops do. And apparently, from what I'm reading, Windows 11 won't run on a custom built machine that doesn't have the TPM security chip in there.
Right. That's what causes it. It says not enough memory and kicks you out.
Right. So I don't know what I'm going to do because I've got most everything I built myself. So, you know, now I'm going to have to scramble and see if I can go find a TPM chip for some of these older motherboards, Asus motherboards and whatnot.
Well, I've got a gaming computer here, so it's got to have it should have a TPM chip in it.
Supposedly, there's
So what is a vapor cooled computer? I kind of wish I had one of those.
Here, let me, I didn't even know what that crap was, but let me pull up the picture. 1 second. I
It's
gotta,
really cool. It's like having Freon in your system.
I don't know about Freon. It's some,
No, but it's the
Something
same
else.
idea. It's the same idea.
move this sucker out of the way. Wait a minute. I know it's in here somewhere. Ah,
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like a refrigeration unit.
that's inside this computer that I'm talking on. Using.
How big is the computer?
It's a very small computer. It's like it's like 10 inches tall and it's about 3 inches wide and maybe 10 inches deep.
Hmm.
Yeah, it generates a lot of heat though. That's why they had to go to vapor cool.
I don't know. It's got
I
a fan that
do
runs
that-
all the
that-
time. I was originally going to use this computer.
That's a compact unit, right?
Yeah,
Is
I
that
was
compact?
originally going to
Yeah.
use this computer for my media room. But as soon as the guy brought it over and we turned it on and I heard that fan running, I said, that's too loud. I can't use it. I mean, it's very quiet, but it's too loud for a media room. So, you know, it's only $100. I kept it anyway, and I've been using it for years.
Yep. That looks to me like it was one of those that was some engineer down in the lab was working with it.
There's my amp. Oh, by the way, I was in the Houston Chronicle once. See that? Probably didn't know that, did you?
No, but
So,
that doesn't surprise me, Alan.
yeah.
I
Not
see
me
you got
anyway.
I see you got your amp dial back.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. I just had to, oh, what happened?
Alan, how old is that article there?
You can see it's pretty old. It's pretty darn old.
Wait a minute, Alan, you mean you run something other than maximum permissible power?
No, maximum
Occasionally.
available power, not permissible.
Yeah. Maximum
Right,
available
available.
power.
All right, you
Uh,
do something less than that? Damn,
How's that look?
what's the LP 100?
Digital vector RF watt meter. It's a very accurate watt meter.
1,648 watts.
Man, you're pushing some watts there, man. I guarantee that was getting 1,500 watts the antenna after the reflection.
There's my favorite one.
1,700 watts.
Holy Toledo.
Yeah, nice numbers.
Yep.
Sweet.
That was on
How
sideband.
did you got a 1,500 watt amplifier? How'd you get that much out of it?
It's an alpha.
Oh, never mind.
What else do you need to know?
Like I said, never mind.
Yeah.
Oh, man.
I don't like that one. Oh, that's chili. Let's see.
Chili with a worm, huh?
Yeah. There's in case anyone's interested, that's the amp with the cover
Yep.
off.
Yeah.
This is a little thermostat unit I bought, which has a relay in it, which turns on an auxiliary fan at whatever temperature I select. That's the inside of the amp. 38874s. big hypersil transformer. That's the internal blower. This circuitry you see right here, this is all the what they call passband tuning for this amplifier on 80, 40, 20, and 15. All I got to do is flip the switch to the passband tuning position, select CW or sideband, and I'm pretty much tuned. It's not best tuned, but it's pretty much tuned.
It's like the automatic tuner in a K3, huh?
It's not quite automatic, but I don't have to dial anything. That's where you do the adjustments on it.
How do you keep it so clean inside? I mean, I could eat off of that.
Hey man, I don't know. It's actually was sitting in my closet for 2 years after I got it back from N4UQ, and I pulled it out just recently. That's the back of it. Auxiliary fan, and that's my interface to it.
He pulled it out because he blew up another one.
Yeah, there's some QSO numbers. Oh, I want to show you a program I use. This program here is part of VOA CAP.
It's part of what?
It's called VOA CAP. Go to voacap.com. And you can enter in certain parameters, your power, your antenna, his, what you think his antenna might be, blah, blah, blah. And you can do a prediction on propagation. It's based on historical data for propagation, but it's based on current data for the sunspot numbers. And this will tell you what your percentage of likelihood of propagation is to various parts of the world. This is a great tool during a contest. And this is during the 1010 QSO party. And as you can see, this was at, let's see, it has a time, 20 UTC. Most of the US was unworkable, except for California,
Just the
Southern
borders,
Canada,
just the
and the
borders.
Northeast.
Yep.
But I could work South America. I could have worked Africa if anybody came on. And I did work New Zealand on 10 meters, about 5 of them.
That's interesting.
And another program they have, this is the maximum MUF, maximum usable frequency.
You can see, yeah.
So you can see based on this chart what the MUF is, which is pretty similar to that other one that we just saw, right?
Yeah.
But there's the
Almost
MUF,
superimpose them one on top of the other.
almost. And you can see how the MUF in the United States is really low in most of the US. So during a contest, I keep this up. I wish I had more screens. I need to install another screen. And you just update this every hour and you can determine what direction to point your beam.
Alan, would this be considered assisted?
I
this
don't believe so.
particular? Okay.
I don't think so. Just like a pan adapter is not considered assisted.
Right.
Do the major contests penalize you if you are using assisted systems?
No, they don't penalize you, but it puts you in a different class. And there are actually some contests that don't allow assisted modes. But when you go to 3830, and you look at, here's summaries of recent contests. I think I'm going to look at something, contest summaries. Let's see if I'm still on top on this guy. Scores. Yeah, I'm still on top. Not a whole lot of 1010 guys do their logs, but see, these are single op. But if you go to a different contest, what's a good one? There you go. That's probably a good one right there. So you got multi-2, which means, it's multi-trans, means you got up to 2 operators, up to 2 transmitters. Multi-multi, which is unlimited. Multiple operators, multiple transmitters. High power, don't know what the hell that means. Distributed. Oh, I know what that means. That means that some people are operating remote.
Yes,
Oh, they have some here too. Then I don't really know exactly what that means. So you can operate remote. It's amazing seeing these guys operate remote,
well, they not only operate remote, it tells you if they're doing SO2R too.
right? It's amazing. This is the number of QSOs in a 48-hour period. And so, you know, like I say, you've got unassisted and you have normal, unassisted and assisted. And let's look at contest summaries. Let's look at a CQ Worldwide DXCW.
Yes, you see.
Look at this. This guy, 12,000 QSOs, 13,000 QSOs. What do you think about that?
One person.
Oh, those are actually two people. Let's go to the single people. Single operator, 6,000 Qs.
I don't know how they have time to eat, sleep, and go to the bathroom.
I'm
They
actually,
probably live on snacks and power drinks.
well, they probably got a catheter.
There's
You know.
actually people that do that,
A
Alan.
a feeding tube.
Yeah. But it's amazing. I can't sit that long anymore, but these people sometimes will actually sit for 48 hours
Wow.
in one spot. And they will tell you, most of them will tell you after 35 to 40 hours, they actually start hallucinating all the way to the end of the contest.
Hmm.
To me, that's just, I don't know, I want to look for something. Control.
Is that what you call a diehard?
Yeah. Oh, he's not in that contest. I was looking for a friend of mine who, you know, there's a couple of guys that actually can make 12,000 contacts by themselves in a 48-hour period. It's just mind-boggling to me. Absolutely mind-boggling. So, anyone have any more questions? I'm not the ultimate authority. There's a lot of guys that know 10 times more than me about this content, this program.
Well, you learned some things by doing this too. You went to some areas that you haven't been to before.
Yeah,
You learned some shortcuts, and that's cool.
yeah. There's all kinds of commands that you can put in your macro file that I have never even touched on. And especially, and there's different commands for FT8 and RIDI modes, and the windows look different on those modes. I haven't done any of those in a while, but I've done both. And I just haven't had time to set things up. And I have a contest budget these days. Wife unit got kind of mad at some of my bigger years of contesting. So
You mean your expenditures or your isolation? Which one?
my time away from her.
Like I said, isolation.
So
That's when you make adjustments.
there is a couple other little things.
That's when you take her out for a night and treat her good.
Yeah, buy flowers, crap like that. If you send an exchange and after you send it, if somebody needs you to repeat it, you can do a number of things. You can either hit multiple function keys, like, you know, his call and his exchange, F5, F2, or you can hit the equal key. The equal key will always send the last thing you sent, regardless of whatever it is. If you need just to repeat something, it's just so simple to reach over and hit that equal key.
Wow.
And there's a number of other keys. You can also map keys to certain additional macro functions with a different program. I can't think of the name of the program, but there's a key mapper program. Can't think of the name of it right now, that works really well with N1MM. So you can map all kinds of key, control this, shift that, alt this, whatever. And you can tell that, you can make this thing just do it just about anything you want. So
It's amazing.
yeah, it is. It's an amazing program. And I'm sure there's a lot of stuff I missed. Looks like I need to I don't know why I keep losing this. Normally I don't lose my connection. And you can also program all these buttons. You can see who the use. Well, yeah, there's all the users. You can see what the WWV is, but all these are configurable. And you got all the configuration stuff up there. It's just, goes on and on and on.
Was that it, guys?
Well, we spent 2 hours on it.
I'm sure you didn't think it was gonna take that long.
Actually, I didn't think I was going to be able to fill 2 hours, but I could go on even more, but I think that's enough for now. And if anyone has any questions, you can call me. You can call K5TU. He's pretty good at it. I was hoping he'd be here tonight and we could exchange information, but he said he was traveling. There's a number of other TDXS members, and of course they also have their reflector. There's an N1MM reflector, and there's also an N1MM digital reflector, 2 different reflectors. And then of course you can also go to N1MM. N1, I don't know why, N1MMWP.hamdocs.com. Don't really know what all that is, but downloads, program files, full install, and then latest updates, update history, blah, 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 archive stuff, category listing. So you get all kinds of different download files, documentation, function keys, program files.
User call history files.
Yeah, call history files, function key files, user defined contests. If you go to this guy, it tells you these are all, there's 326 user defined contests besides all the contests that N1MM covers.
Jeez.
This is the expert at UDCs right here. Les is his name. It looks like he uploads all of them, but these are all kinds of crazy crap I never heard of. But some people can do that. And then category management, same thing here. Function key files, videos. They have how-to videos. They've got some neat RTTY functions that I had to watch the videos to learn how to use them. Function key files. These are all their standard function key files. There's a bunch of them, huh? Documentation at a glance, getting started. It's not that hard.
Yeah,
FJP users, it's not that hard.
it's easy for you to say, Alan.
Software setup.
A good starting point are those function key files.
Right.
And then as Alan mentioned earlier this evening, you can go in and modify them to your own liking.
Exactly.
So if you're just getting started with this, That's, I think that's a good place to start with those canned function key files.
Yeah,
Use
Yeah,
the defaults.
and they work. They got digital, CW, and sideband. And by the way, the sideband file, you can store voice messages on your computer and call them up with the sideband function key files.
Yes.
Let's see if this will give you. I got to download it, huh? Yeah, keep it.
Well, gentlemen, I've got prayer obligations with the wife, so I've got to leave.
Huh. Well, why it's doing that? Usually it's an MC file. Oh, I think what you got anyhow. It should be a TXT.
Hope you enjoyed it, Gerald.
Yep. So, I mean, there's just so much. Now, I've never gone and looked at WinTest and to see how extensive their files and website is. I used to use WriteLog years ago, but I had problems with WriteLog, so I went to N1MM. I think my first one that was on a real computer was TR-Log. That was a DOS, and I got pretty good at TR. Oh, my camera just went out. Isn't that weird? Camera just died. So let's unplug it. Wait a few seconds. Plug it back in. Red lights on. Start video. Why does it do that? Why does it do that, Scott?
I don't know. But I have the same problem with the DX spots disconnecting.
Yeah,
Oh,
mine
really?
does it all the time. Usually overnight.
Maybe you've got a bad wire or something like that. Maybe in there, it's kind of intermittent.
No, it works. It does the same on multiple ports. So what I think it is I think that the power supply feeding the USB ports is weak. And it loads it, even a camera loads it down. And so after a while, the voltage drops too low and it turns off.
Yeah.
My other
yeah.
interfaces stay up for some reason, but only the camera shuts off. So I do have a powered hub, and I'll try that.
Well, outstanding. Thank you, Alan.
You're
Very
welcome.
nice job. Very nice job. Thank you.
Yeah, I enjoyed it.
I learned a lot. Looking forward to getting that running this summer.
Well, like I say, if you have any questions, feel free to call me or go, subscribe to the N1MM
User group.
reflector.
Mhm.
And they're pretty quick usually in answering questions, and there's usually lots of very helpful people. And but I can probably help you out with most things. So don't mind doing that.
All right.
Anyhow, I see Dan's here. Kind of late, Dan. All right, guys. Well, these headphones are starting to hurt my ears and they're not the best. So unless you guys have any other questions, give me a call and